O'Shea Jackson Sr., born June 15, 1969, better known as Ice Cube, is an American rapper, songwriter, actor, and film producer. Ice Cube was born O'Shea Jackson in Los Angeles on June 15, 1969, the son of hospital clerk and custodian Doris and machinist and UCLA groundskeeper Hosea Jackson. He has an older brother, and they had a half-sister who was murdered when Cube was 12. He is the cousin of fellow rappers Del the Funky Homo Sapien and Cam. He grew up on Van Wyck Street in the Westmont section of South Los Angeles. In ninth grade at George Washington Preparatory High School in Los Angeles, Cube began writing raps after being challenged by his friend Kiddo in typewriting class. Kiddo lost. He has said that his stage name came from his older brother, who threatened to slam him into a freezer and pull him out when he was an ice cube. Cube also attended William Howard Taft High School in the Woodland Hills area of Los Angeles. He was bused 40 miles to the suburban school from his home in a high-crime neighborhood. In the fall of 1987, soon after he wrote and recorded a few locally successful rap songs with N.W.A, he enrolled at the Phoenix Institute of Technology, Phoenix, Arizona. In 1988, with a diploma in architectural drafting, he returned to Los Angeles and rejoined N.W.A, but kept a career in architecture drafting as a backup plan. Personal life. In 1990, a musical associate in the rap group Public Enemy introduced Cube to the Nation of Islam, N.W.A, that he converted to Islam, though he denied membership in the N.W.A, whose ideology against white people and especially Jews led to its categorization as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. However, he readily adopted the group's ideology of black nationalism, a concept familiar to the hip-hop community. That he nevertheless has claimed to listen his own conscience as a natural Muslim, claiming to do so because it's just him and God. In 2012, he expressed support for same-sex marriage. In 2017, he said that he thinks religion is stupid in part and explained, "I'm gonna live a long life, and I might change religions 3 or 4 times before I die. I'm on the Islam tip, but I'm on the Christian tip, too. I'm on the Buddhist tip as well. Everyone has something to offer to the world." Ice Cube has been married to Kimberly Woodruff since April 26, 1992. They have 5 children together. Their oldest son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., born 1991, portrayed him in the film Straight Outta Compton. When asked about the balance between his music and parenting in 2005, Cube discussed teaching his children to question the value of violence depicted in all media, not just song lyrics. Through his son O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube is a grandfather. In 2017, he launched Big 3, a 3-on-3 basketball league starring former NBA players. Ice Cube is a notable fan of the Las Vegas Raiders, originally supporting the team during their tenure in Los Angeles from 1982 to 1994. N.W.A.'s use of Raiders memorabilia in conjunction with the team's historically intimidating presence helped to further popularize an image for the team in hip-hop culture for years to come. Ice Cube is also a fan of the Los Angeles Dodgers of the MLB and has equally been a devout fan of the Los Angeles Lakers. Conspiracy theories and anti-Semitism. At a 1991 press conference promoting his album Death Certificate, Cube endorsed the Nation of Islam's pseudo-scholarly book The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, which falsely claims that European Jews dominated the Atlantic slave trade. Death Certificate also contains the song No Vaseline, which uses racial slurs against the other former members of N.W.A. and refers to the group's manager Jerry Heller as white man, white boy, Jew, devil, white Jew, and cracker. In response to accusations of racism and anti-Semitism, Cube said in 2008, "I ain't got time to be fucking anti-Semitic, anti-this, anti-that, anti-Korean. I ain't got time for that shit. I'm too busy being pro-black, you know what I'm saying?" In 2015, Cube expressed regret at including the word Jew in the lyrics of No Vaseline and explained that he intended to attack only Heller and not the whole Jewish race. In 2020, Marlo Stern wrote an article in the Daily Beast addressing Cube's long, disturbing history of anti-Semitism. The article was a response to Cube's day-long Twitter posting spree the day before, during which he promoted Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. That he also shared various disproven anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, again calling himself just pro-black and not anti-anybody. He dismissed the hype and professed that he was just telling his truth. Music career. Early work. In 1986, at the age of 16, Ice Cube began rapping in the trio CIA but soon joined the newly formed rap group N.W.A. He was N.W.A.'s lead rapper and main ghostwriter on its official debut album, 1988's Straight Outta Compton. Due to a financial dispute, he left the group by the start of 1990. During 1990, his debut solo album, America's Most Wanted, found him also leading a featured rap group, De Lench Mob. Meanwhile, he helped develop the rapper Yo-Yo. 1986, CIA. With friend Sir Jinx, Ice Cube formed the rap group CIA and performed at parties hosted by Dr. Dre. Since 1984, Dre was a member of a popular DJ crew, the world-class Wreckin' Crew, which by 1985 was also performing and recording electro rap. Dre had Cube help write the Wreckin' Crew's hit song Cabbage Patch. Dre also joined Cube on a side project, a duo called Stereo Crew, which made a 12-inch record, She's a Skag, released on Epic Records in 1986. In 1987, CIA released the Dr. Dre-produced single My Posse. Meanwhile, the Wreckin' Crew's home base was the Eve After Dark nightclub, about a quarter of a mile outside of the city of Compton in Los Angeles County. While Dre was on the turntable, Ice Cube would rap, often parodying other artists' songs. In one instance, Cube's rendition was My Penis, parodying Run DMC's My Adidas. In 2015, the nightclub's co-owner and Wreckin' leader Alonzo Williams would recall feeling his reputation damaged by this and asking it not to be repeated. 1986 to 1989, N.W.A. Main article, N.W.A. Poster for one of N.W.A.'s first concerts at a Compton skating rink, 1988. At 16, Cube sold his first song to Eric Wright, soon dubbed Easy, who was forming Ruthless Records and the musical team N.W.A., based in Compton, California. Himself from South Central Los Angeles, Cube would be N.W.A.'s only core member not born in Compton. Upon the success of the song Boys in the Hood, written by Cube, produced by Dre, and rapped by Easy, helping establish gangsta rap in California, Easy focused on developing N.W.A., which soon gained MC Ren. Cube wrote some of Dre's and nearly all of Easy's lyrics on N.W.A.'s official debut album, Straight Outta Compton, released in August 1988. Yet by late 1989, Cube questioned his compensation and N.W.A.'s management by Jerry Heller. Cube also wrote most of Eazy's debut album Easy Does It. He received a total pay of $32,000, and the contract that Heller presented in 1989 did not confirm that he was officially an N.W.A. member. After leaving the group and its label in December, Cube sued Heller, and the lawsuit was later settled out of court. In response, N.W.A. members attacked Cube on the 1990 EP 100 Miles and Runnin', and on N.W.A.'s next and final album, Niggas for Life, in 1991. 1989 to 1993, early solo career, America's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, and The Predator. In early 1990, Ice Cube recorded his debut solo album, America's Most Wanted, in New York with iconic rap group Public Enemy's production team, The Bomb Squad. Arriving in May 1990, it was an instant hit, further swelling rap's mainstream integration. Controversial nonetheless, it drew accusations of misogyny and racism. The album introduces Ice Cube's affirmation of black nationalism and ideology of black struggle. Cube appointed Yo-Yo, a female rapper and guest on the album, to be the head of his record label and helped produce her debut album, Make Way for the Motherlode. Also in 1990, Cube followed up with an EP Kill It Will, critically acclaimed, and rap's first EP certified platinum. His second album Death Certificate was released in 1991. The album thought to as more focused, yet even more controversial, triggering accusations of anti-white, anti-Semitic, and misogynist content. The album was split into two themes, the death side, a vision of where we are today, and the life side, a vision of where we need to go. The track No Vaseline scathingly retorts insults directed at him by N.W.A.'s 1990 EP and 1991 album, which call him a traitor. Besides calling for hanging Easy as a house nigga, the track blames N.W.A.'s manager Jerry Heller for exploiting the group, mentions that he is a Jew, and calls for his murder. Ice Cube contended that he mentioned Heller's ethnicity merely incidentally, not to premise attack, but as news media mentioned non-white assailants, the track Black Korea, also deemed racist, was also thought as foreseeing the 1992 Los Angeles riots. While controversial, Death Certificate broadened his audience. He toured with Lollapalooza in 1992. A ticket from a 1993 Ice Cube concert in Omaha, Nebraska. Cube's third album, The Predator, was released in November 1992. Referring to the 1992 Los Angeles riots, the song Wicked opens, April 29th was Power to the People, and we might just see a sequel. The Predator was the first album ever to debut at #1 on both the R&B/hip-hop and pop charts. Singles include It Was a Good Day and Check Yourself, songs having a two-part music video. Generally drawing critical praise, the album is his most successful commercially, over 3 million copies sold in the U.S. After this album, Cube's rap audience severely diminished and never regained the prominence of his first 3 albums. During this time, Cube began to have numerous features on other artists' songs. In 1992, Cube appeared on Del the Funky Homo Sapiens' debut album I Wish My Brother George Was Here, on Delench Mob's debut Gorillas in the Mist, which he also produced, and on the Cool G Rap and DJ Polo song Two to the Head. In 1993, he worked on Cam's debut album and collaborated with Ice-T on the track Last Words on Tupac's album Strictly for My Niggas. 1993 to 1998, Lethal Injection and forming West Side Connection. Cube's fourth album, Lethal Injection, came out in late 1993. Here, Cube borrowed from the then-popular G-Funk popularized by Dr. Dre. Although not received well by critics, the album brought successful singles, including Really Doe, Bop Gun, One Nation, You Know How We Do It, and What Can I Do? After this album, Ice Cube effectively lost his rap audience. Following Lethal Injection, Cube focused on films and producing albums of other rappers, including Delench Mob, Mac 10, Mr. Short Cop, and Caution. In 1994, Cube teamed with one-time N.W.A group mate Dr. Dre, who was then leading rap's G-Funk subgenre, for the first time since Cube had left the group, and which had disbanded upon Dre's 1991 departure. The result was the Cube and Dre song Natural Born Killers, On the Murder was the K soundtrack, released by Dre's then new label, Death Row Records. In 1995, Cube joined Mac 10 and W.C. in forming a side trio, the West Side Connection. Feeling neglected by East Coast media, a long-standing issue in rap's bi-coastal rivalry, the group aimed to reinforce West pride and resonate with the undervalued. The West Side Connection's first album, Bow Down, 1996, featured tracks like Bow Down and Gangsta's Make the World Go Round that reflected the group's objectives. The album was certified platinum by year's end. Interpreting rapper Common's song I Used to Love Her as a diss of West Coast rap, Cube and the West Side Connection briefly feuded with him, but they resolved amicably in 1997. It was also at this time that Cube began collaborating outside the rap genre. In 1997, he worked with David Bowie and 9 Inch Nails singer Trent Reznor on a remix of Bowie's I'm Afraid of Americans. In 1998, Cube was featured on the band Korn's song Children of the Corn, and joined them on their Family Values Tour 1998. 1998 to 2006, War and Peace Volume 1 and 2 and West Side Connection Reunion. In November 1998, Cube released his long-awaited fifth solo album War and Peace Volume 1, The War Disc. The delayed sixth album, Volume 2, arrived in 2000. These albums feature the West Side Connection and a reunion with his old N.W.A members Dr. Dre and MC Ren. Cube also received a return favor from Korn, as they appeared on his song Fuck Dying from Volume 1. Many fans maintained that these two albums, especially the second, were lesser in quality to his earlier work. In 2000, Cube also joined Dr. Dre, Eminem, and Snoop Dogg for the Up in Smoke tour. In 2002, Cube appeared on British DJ Paul Oakenfold's solo debut album, Bunka, on the track Get 'Em Up. Released in 2003, West Side Connection's second album, Terrorist Threats, fared well critically, but saw lesser sales. Gangsta Nation, featuring Nate Dogg, the only single released, was a radio hit. After a rift between Cube and Mac 10 about Cube's film work minimizing the group's touring, the West Side Connection disbanded in 2005. In 2004, Cube featured on the song Real Nigga Roll Call by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, the then leaders of rap's crunk subgenre. 2006 to 2012, Laugh Now, Cry Later, Raw Footage, and I Am the West. In 2006, Cube released his seventh solo album, Laugh Now, Cry Later, selling 144,000 units in the first week. Lil Jon and Scott Storch produced the lead single, Why We Thugs. In October, Ice Cube was honored at VH1's annual Hip Hop Honors and performed it and also the track Go to Church. Cube soon toured globally in the Straight Outta Compton tour accompanied by rapper N.W.A from the West Side Connection playing in America, Europe, Australia, and Japan. Amid Cube's many features and brief collaborations, September 2007 brought in the movies, a compilation album of Ice Cube songs on soundtracks. Cube's 8th studio album, Raw Footage, arrived on August 19, 2008, yielding the singles Gangsta Rap Made Me Do It and Do Ya Tang. Also in 2008, Cube helped on Tech N.W.A's song Black Boy and was featured on the game's song State of Emergency. As a fan of the NFL football team the Raiders, Cube released in October 2009 a tribute song, Raider Nation. In 2009, Ice Cube performed at the Gathering of the Juggalos and returned to perform at the 2011 festival. Ice Cube performing at Metro City Concert Club in October 2010. On September 28, 2010, his 9th solo album, I Am the West, arrived with, Cube says, a direction different from any one of his other albums. Its producers include West Coast veterans like DJ Quick, Dr. Dre, E.S.Ski, and, after nearly 20 years, again Cube's one-time seed to I. Group mate Sir Jinx. Offering the single I Rep That West, the album debuted at number 22 on the Billboard 200 and sold 22,000 copies in its first week. Also in 2010, Cube signed up-and-coming recording artists named 7 Trey the Ghost, deemed likely to be either skipped or given the cookie-cutter treatment by most record companies. In 2011, Cube featured on Daz Dillinger's song Is You Ready to Die and on DJ Quick's song Boogie Till You Conk Out. In 2012, Ice Cube recorded a verse for a remix of the Insane Clown Posse song Chris Benoit from ICP's The Mighty Death Pop album, appearing on the album Mike E. Clark's Extra Pop Emporium. In September 2012, during Pepsi's NFL Anthems campaign, Cube released his second Raiders anthem Come and Get It. 2012, present, Everything's Corrupt and forming Mount Westmore. In November 2012, Cube released more details on his forthcoming, 10th studio album, Everything's Corrupt. Releasing its title track near the 2012 elections, he added, You know, this record is for the political heads. But the album's release was delayed. On February 10, 2014, iTunes brought another single from it, Sick the Mnyans on M, and a music video followed the next day. Despite a couple of more song releases, the album's release was delayed even beyond Cube's work on the 2015 film Straight Outta Compton. After a statement setting release to 2017, the album finally arrived on December 7, 2018. In 2014, Cube appeared on MC Ren's remix Rebel Music, their first collaboration since the N.W.A reunion in 2000. In 2020, Cube joined rappers Snoop Dogg, E40, Too Short, and formed the supergroup Empty Westmore. The group's debut album was released on June 7, 2022. Throughout early 2024, Ice Cube is set to tour across Canada as part of his Straight Into Canada tour. Film and television career. Since 1991, Ice Cube has acted in nearly 40 films, several of which are highly regarded, some of them, such as the 1992 thriller Trespass and the 1999 war comedy Three Kings, highlight action, yet most are comedies, including a few adult-oriented ones, like the Friday franchise, whereas most of these are family-friendly, like the Barbershop franchise. Narrative. John Singleton's seminal film Boys and the Hood, released in July 1991, debuted the actor Ice Cube playing Doughboy, a persona that Cube played convincingly later. Cube starred with Ice-T and Bill Paxton in Walter Hill's 1992 thriller film Trespass, and in Charles Burnett's 1995 film The Glass Shield. Meanwhile, Cube declined to co-star with Janet Jackson in Singleton's 1993 romance Poetic Justice, a role that Tupac Shakur then played. Cube starred as the university student Fudge in Singleton's 1995 film Higher Learning. Singleton, encouraging Cube, had reportedly told him, if you can write a record, you can write a movie. Cube co-wrote the screenplay for the 1995 comedy Friday, based on adult themes, and starred in it with comedian Chris Tucker. Made with $3.5 million, Friday drew $28 million worldwide. Two sequels, Next Friday and Friday After Next, were respectively released in 2000 and 2002. In 1997, playing a South African exiled to America who returns 15 years later, Cube starred in the action thriller Dangerous Ground and had a supporting role in Anaconda. In 1998, writing again, the director Ice Cube debuted in The Players Club. In 1999, he starred alongside George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg as a staff sergeant in Three Kings, set in the immediate aftermath of the Gulf War, whereby the United States attacked Iraq in 1990, an intelligent war comedy critically acclaimed. In 2002, Cube starred in Kevin Bray's All About the Benjamins, and in Tim Story's comedy film Barbershop. In 2004, Cube played in Barbershop 2 and Torque. The next year, he replaced Vin Diesel in the second installment of the XXX film series, XXX, State of the Union, as the main protagonist, which he reprises the character in the third installment and reunited with Diesel 12 years later, XXX, Return of Xander Cage. He also appeared in the family comedy Are We There Yet?, which premised his role in its 2007 sequel Are We Done Yet? In 2012, Cube appeared in 21 Jump Street. He also appeared in its sequel, 22 Jump Street, in 2014. That year, and then to return in 2016, he played alongside comedian Kevin Hart in two more Tim Story films, Ride Along and Ride Along 2. Also in 2016, Cube returned for the third entry in the Barbershop series. And in 2017, Cube starred with Charlie Day in the comedy Fist Fight. In October 2021, Ice Cube was set to star in the comedy film Oh Hell No, now titled Stepdude, alongside Jack Black, but left the project after refusing to get vaccinated for COVID-19. The project would have paid him $9 million. Documentary. In late 2005, Ice Cube and R.J. Cutler co-created the six-part documentary series Black, White, carried by cable network FX. Ice Cube and basketball star LeBron James paired up to pitch a one-hour special to ABC based on James's life. On May 11, 2010, ESPN aired Cube's directed documentary Straight Outta L.A., examining the interplay of Los Angeles sociopolitics, hip-hop, and the Raiders during the 1980s into the 1990s. Serial television. Ice Cube's Are We There Yet? Series premiered on TBS on June 2, 2010. It revolves around a family adjusting to the matriarch's new husband, played by Terry Crews. On August 16, the show was renewed for 90 more episodes, amounting to 6 seasons. Cube also credits Tyler Perry for his entree to TBS in front of the television cameras. Rather, Cube appeared with Elmo as a 2014 guest on the PBS children's show Sesame Street,